Hi guys, welcome to the pre-flight and startup tutorial of the Antonov 24 Community Edition for X-Plane 11. Now what you guys are seeing is the final and beta 9. What I tend to do today is practically show you how to use the actual aircraft and I will even include the checklist that I have made together with real-world Antonov 24 pilot for the single, either single or multi-op cockpit. So the actual checklist I will include in the video description down below. Let's get started. So first and foremost, we actually need, if we are flying on VATSIM, we need to make sure that our flight plan has been filed. Secondly, we need to go inside the cockpit, orient ourselves, and check that the parking brake is on. Parking brake is on and verified. Wheel steering checked off. Gear, we have checked it to neutral, as you can see. Thrust levers are set to ground idle. Chocks and tying downs. For this, we need to go and head to the outside. So let's see here, ground service. In this case, I do usually go one-on-one, but in this case I will just use prepare to flight because I want to save time. And of course, let's get inside here. An emergency exit, which is located here. Since it's quite difficult to actually open this section up, I'm going to close it by using this included menu. Okay, emergency exit is checked, documents have been reviewed, and by documents I mean intended weight, SIMBRI flight plans, what flight plans we are using, etc. Battery bus. Okay, time to go to the overhead here. So battery bus is checked in middle. We have battery is set to on. And we need to check current, and we have it. So navigation lights located down here. Pardon me, sorry. Navigation light is located next to it. MSRP, which is our flight black box recorder. You control it. Now this functionality currently is not modeled, but you can still control, pull up the switch, and the MSRP is now on and armed. Fire protection, we need to check the fire protection, put it to the down position, check all yellow lights checked, and fire protection is now set. Doors, now for the actual doors, it's quite easy. You go inside the ground, you can open up the cargo hatch as well as the back doors. Something like so. But there we go, and let's close them down. So that's for our pre-flight checklist. So now before start checklist, what we need to do is we need to add some load. Now, if you are an English user, I strongly recommend that you use the English options. How to change the options, you can check the video, the former video prior to this one. So in this case, you can of course set either 0 or whatever you want. However, we are going to be a little bit light today. And if you have checked performance charts earlier for different planes, you would notice that one would actually need to be beneath the actual line going here. However, it's reversed in the Antonov, so you want to be above this line. So above this line and above this line as well here. So we are currently in the green. For the amount of fuel, you can, in our case, you can see passenger rates. But when you want to figure out how much fuel to actually put in, since there is no current SimBrief fuel calculator, you need to take note that it's 900 kilograms in total per hour the first hour, and then afterwards you waste the real reply pilot told me 800 per hour, but I usually account for 850 kilograms of fuel in total per hour. So depending on where you are going to fly and approximately how much time it's going to take, that's how you are going to load it. Or simply put, you can use the included fuel calculation here by putting in the distance in kilometers, including the actual time here. Either way, I'm quite satisfied currently, and to load the actual plane I need to press on load. However, we need to take note of the CG for our takeoff. This is going to be our trim, and we need to note how the trim will change, well, what the required trim will be for after we pull up our gear during the takeoff sequence. So 23.5 is a number that we need to note and put down here in the trim bar. So let's do that right now. It doesn't need to be exact, it can be so and so, something like so. There we go. So it's 23 right now, a little bit like so, and we can load the actual aircraft. So the actual aircraft has been loaded. Now, since I figured that the included measurement for the amount of fuel on board is not functioning as it should, what you guys need to use is the more precise and much better fuel quantity timer, or I would say not timer, but an indicator of the amount of fuel that's left. Now, in this case, how are you going to use it? Well, it's simply put, you take this number here, amount of fuel, and you kind of divide it by 2. So in our case, it's going to be, let's see here, 16, 50, 75, so 75. So we can see that it's already put, but in the case it isn't, let's put a down value like so. So if I know it's 675 kilograms per engine, so to speak, but still it's pretty close, so always take the lower number. So that's it. So fuel and pilot has been set. Fuel quantity indicators have been set. Doors, we need to close them. So let's go ahead and close the doors. Let's just verify the doors have been closed. Okay. Now for the GPU and APU, we need to turn them on. In this case, what we are going to do is, first and foremost, let's engage the battery inverter, like so. And let's put down on the automatic for either one of these tanks. So let's put the left hand one. We can either take the, whoops daisy, either take the right hand one like so, or this one. Put up the fire valve protection for the RU-19. Now here comes the engine rod stopper cap, as you can see, third engine, and make sure that you move this power lever to its full forward, and then just put it all the way back to the ground idle position. So now, as this is happening, what we need to do now is we need to open up and engage it by using the following sequence. There we go. It's starter and engaging the starter now. Let's see. Okay. There we go. I do humbly apologize, could not see really, but the RU-19 is climbing, EGT is climbing, and the prop RPMs are climbing as well. So what we are waiting for is approximately 50 seconds in this case, but 40 if I start the clocks when I should have. There we go, 20. Okay, we seem to be a little bit stable. And let's start by adding 10 RPMs, 10% of RPMs per time, see if the engine is stable. Okay, we are stable at 40. We have 50. 60, and we are still stable. EGT is slowly climbing as I'm increasing my RPM. Okay, we are passing 80, and now just slowly move it forward as much as you can. Okay, we have approximately 89% and we seem to be stable. Okay, so next up, generators, check current. So the gen switch, and then check that there is a current flowing. Okay, battery bus, set it to the up position. Now GDI, which will control our horizontal indicator, is located down here. And what we need to do now is we are going to align our directional indicator with the magnetic compass. In this aircraft you have to do it manually. We are pointing at 5 degrees north, and this one is pointing approximately at 2 degrees currently. So we have to set it properly. Now this little circle thingy, compass, is the same thing as this one here. So let's go down here, watch it like so, engage the compass setting, set the current latitude you are on. So in this case we are 64 degrees north, so this is the closest one in the middle, 65 that we have set, and set it to 5 degrees like so. And there we go. It's set to 5 degrees right now. Perfect. And we can turn it off like so. Clearance. Now at this point we would ask the ATC for clearance. For clearance, departure clearance, that is. Afterwards we will make sure that our GPS was set. Now this is a tutorial in itself, so I'm not going to go through it. However, if you want to learn how to operate this included GPS, make sure to read the included manual that I have uploaded, and it's located in the description of both the first and this video as well. I have included the KLN90B as well for the download, as well as the instructions. So I'm going to fly without it today. Clearance has been received, GPS. Let's say that in our case we need to make sure that instrumentation has been set as well. If we are flying from St. Petersburg, we need to engage the DME. Of course, we need to make sure that the, let's say in our case, maybe we will be using VIOR. And if we want to use course for the intercept, we can use them as well. However, it's not required at this point. Okay. Briefing, takeoff briefing has been discussed. Signs, in this case seatbelt signs, which are located here, should be put to up hand position. Cowl flaps, verify, set to auto. You don't need to touch them at all. Fuel control panel, it needs to be set for engine startup in this position, like so. Auto fuel flow, pretty much make sure that these buttons here are our fuel meters and indicate the fuel flow as well as the hydraulic flow. There we go. Thrust levers, verify ground idle, check the ground idle. Beacon light, which is located here, is on. And before start, checklist is now complete. Now after engine start, correction. Now for the actual startup, I do have to apologize. There we go. Let's see here. We need to make sure that there is a brake, like so. We have brakes are on, and time to actually start the plane. Go down here, set to start position, ground start, that is. Always start the left-hand engine first, ground start selected, reset the clock and engage the starter. Check white lights, engage starter and check RPMs rising. As you can see now, if everything went well, after we pass approximately 40 seconds, the RPMs will start to spool up again. And this is going to be something that you can actually hear. There we go. And we are spooling up. you will soon see the flow meter for the left-hand engine engage. There we go. Okay, passing 80. Go up here, insert the left-hand generator and the left-hand engine inverter. And you can see the actual fuel flow corresponding to the correct fuel flow that is in the actual engine. Okay, now's the time to start the engine, right-hand engine, prav, and zapusk. RPMs climbing, EGT climbing. I actually forgot in this case to reset the timer, but that's okay. You can see the engines spooling up and syncing up with each other. We are waiting for it to pass 80% so that we can enable our right-hand generator as well as right-hand inverter. Okay, at the top side here, passing 80, right-hand generator check loads, right-hand inverter on. And disable the row 19 generator. In this case, we can very slowly now, in order to save time, I'm going to skip this, but like with any other engine, you have to move it down very slowly. In my case, I'm just going to drag it down fast to save time. However, you should move it down slowly and leave it at ground idle position for 2 minutes, which should give us enough time to actually reach down here. So 2 minutes, like so. Okay. So let's go ahead and close this one to air start, set in the middle, and zapusk, keep it at starter engaged position. Let's do our after engine start checklist. Generators are set. Inverters have been set. Battery is set as required. Battery bus checked up. Current checked. GPU, APU is set as required. APU cooling down. Emergency braking system. Now we need to test our emergency brakes. Currently we have positive brakes pressure. So in our case, if I remember correctly, like so. There we go. Emergency braking is now engaged, and we just need to flip the switch to fully engage it. You will see a little bit of sink in the hydraulics pressure, and it will climb again. So if it climbs, the emergency hydraulics is tested. Emergency hydraulic system is closed and the pumps are disengaged. Radio altimeter. So in this case, I'm just going to skip the actual checklist and go through the actual flow, like so. Just drag them up Every single item here needs to be dragged up. If you want to know what these items do, make sure to read the included manual within the actual plane. And control of the de-icers has been complete, control on the lamps are checked, and it's set to automatic. Artificial horizon is now on, and what we need to do is we need to sync our OBS course needles here, like so. Checked right hand side, checked left hand side, captain side as well. Okay, there we go. And now vibration control switch needs to be on. Checking vibration controls. Vibration controls check complete. We can, in our case, engage the VIR button, like so. We know that we will be departing runway, let's say here, in our case, it will be runway 28, however, 28 is located approximately like so. So we can set it up for us. Something like so, there we go. And set to 7.5. Okay, so for the after start checklist, this has been completed. Next up is the taxi as well, takeoff and climb. In addition to the cruise setting. I hope to see you soon. Cheers.